Hello, I'm going to be demonstrating two different use cases when it comes to risk-based authentication integrated with advanced authentication. So first, I'm going to go to our access management product, and it's going to prompt me to go to our intranet portal with a username and password. So the first use case is I'm going to be trying to log into our intranet via a untrusted PC. This untrusted PC you can see is a Macintosh, doesn't matter what type of OS or whatever it is, it's just this machine's not domain joined and not on our private network. So what we're going to do, every time I go to log in, because it is an untrusted PC, we're going to require the user to verify their identification. So you can see the first time I log in, it's actually not only prompt me for multi-factor authentication, but it's giving me a choice to select three different methods. So it's querying back the advanced authentication system to find out if and what methods I have enrolled in. In this instance, we're going to use our smartphone application. This is an application that you register your device with authentication server. You see I get a pop-up message. Then our app opens up once the app's registered. I do Touch ID. It authenticates. And at this point, it asks me, do I want to accept or deny this request? And at this point, if everything works okay, which it will, I say accept, and I should be authenticated into the platform. So within that, so let's summarize what happened a little bit there. So the first time I went to go log in from an untrusted device using risk-based authentication, I've said, okay, since it's an untrusted device, first of all, we want to prompt you for authentication using a username and password. It doesn't have to be, it could be other methods if you'd like. And then after that, we're going to give them the choice to do the verification method. And not only is it going to say which verification method, it queries the server to see which verification methods or multi-factor authentication options you have available. So if, per se, you could also say that they have to use a specific method every time they try to log into the portal. The other thing here you'll also notice is if I go to actually log into other application, so actually integrated with this risk-based policy is to say, every time I go to this web application, I'm going to prompt for a second factor authentication no matter where you are, what you're doing. So a static assignment. So there's no risk there. It's every time I log in, actually I'm just saying in this instance there is a little bit. I'm saying once a day, I'm going to require you to authenticate via a second factor authentication, trusted or untrusted device, it does not matter. So the same exact use case is going to pop up here with push notification to the phone, and I'm going to accept that push notification on the phone, and then it'll let me into the web application. So one more aspect of this I like to demonstrate is this not only works from applications that are in-house applications like our intranet here. If I were to go to Outlook Web Access, it's single sign on me in. But if I were to log off and then go to log into something similar like we have Google Apps set up in this platform, I go to Google Apps and we're going to log in as Fred because that's the user we've been using. And it's going to bring me back to authenticate. But since I'm an unknown device, right, same policies are in place. Enter my username and password, and it's going to do a two-factor authentication with a federated application, just like you were if you're going into your intranet. So it works just as flawlessly or same for the end users as it would if it's an intranet or a cloud-based application. So I have another policy in place where it says, okay, the use case is around, okay, I am on the network. I'm using a trusted device, so one that's joined to our domain. I actually am on the same network, so it's a trusted device. In those use cases, more times than not, since it's a trusted device and we know it's a trusted device, we are just going to prompt the user for username and password. So the same exact login page, but I have the ability to say, okay, I'm going to just put my username and password. It's a trusted device. Using that same policy, it's just doing on the dynamic decision making on the fly to say, okay, it's a trusted device. I'm just going to let you authenticate. But if you remember correctly, we had that sample web app. If I were to click on that sample web app, we should get a prompt for advanced authentication, which we do. Same exact look and feel, but since like we said before, every time once a day, we're going to require a user to authenticate on that device to do a multi-factor authentication. So maybe this is your financial system or your HR system, and no matter what happens, you want to make sure the person that's actually logging into that system is verifying who they are. So if someone did know the username and password for the workstation or something to that effect, they would not be able to get into the financial application. So the other piece of it is, if we'll notice, is that I did say it was only once a day. So if I were to log off, go back and log into the same portal with the username and password. So I've entered my same username and password. If I go into this web application, since I had already done a multi-factor authentication for today, it's actually going to authenticate me. So that holds that session for whatever period of time you'd like it to be. Thank you very much.